Aloha, y'all. It is Sunday, named after the sun. Shocker, right? Sunday, the 13th of March. The sun is in 22 degrees 53 minutes Pisces. The moon is at 26 degrees Cancer. Mercury's at 5 degrees Pisces. Venus is at 6 degrees Aquarius. Mars is at 5 degrees Aquarius. Jupiter's at 16 degrees 53 minutes Pisces. Saturn is at 20 degrees Aquarius. Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus. Neptune's at 22 degrees 51 minutes Pisces, conjunct exactly the sun as we speak. Good day to do mushrooms. Pluto is at 28 degrees Capricorn, and the North Node is at 24 degrees Taurus. It is a Svadhisthana, or crown chakra day. I mean, imagine this is like a halo or something. Svadhisthana chakra, all these Om symbols, very cool, right? So, the keywords are beauty, creativity, and inspiration. The positive aspects are a reverence for all of life, self-sacrificing in the service of others, idealism, and ability to see the appropriate route for the benefit of the higher self. Negative attributes would be no concern for others, feelings of superiority, lack of contact with reality. The mantra is Om, hence all the little Om symbols. Also, Om is for the third eye. But basically, I just realized maybe this camera needs to get cleaned off a little. Let me just do something real quickly, shall I? Did that help at all? Or is it just really humid? Maybe it's just really humid. I hacked it. I've got two headphones with different mics on, so both of y'all can hear me. Both YouTube and Facebook Live should be able to hear me well enough. Anyway, Om is the mantra. If you're going to be doing Om, do it in the key of B. Spiritual activities include prayer, meditation, and reflection. Essential oils are violet, lavender, lotus plants, or lotus flower, shocker. Elements is the cosmos. Crystals are amethyst and alexandrite. And soul lesson is to be at one with source, right? We're trying to be at one-ment, atonement, right? At one-ment. So that is the chakra of the day. Not very surprising given all the Neptunian energy, right? Spiritual day. I mean, this happens to be what it is no matter what, but we're going to get some contact with the divine in a very special way today, I believe. I actually walked like 8 or 9 kilometers yesterday one way to La Fortuna to get some mushrooms. That was a long wait. Locals here are called Ticos, and they are on what they call Tico time. So, like island time, kind of, when you're in Hawaii. It's like, oh, be here at 1 o'clock, and it's like 1:45. So I waited around for like many hours. But it is what it is. So, y'all, 6 of Wands. Right? The Wands are about fire, so if you're an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, you're naturally going to resonate with this suit. And the 6 of Wands is right smack dab in the middle of the journey of the wand. So we have, in this situation, not the beginning of a journey, but definitely not the completion, kind of a first, base camp completion level of things. So, 6 of Wands. Triumph and victory are achieved. Yesterday, I set my intentions. Hopefully today my trip goes well. Whatever. Everything's going well so far. It says get the your desired recognition. This little typo. Get your desired recognition. Fine-tune your pathways to success. 6 of Wands. I lead through example. The 6 of Wands is a card of success, a celebration of a well-chosen goal or ambition, a perfect opportunity to celebrate what you have already achieved, knowing you have rightly earned this success. There is no hesitation, no sense of being a fraud. You have proved yourself beyond capable and have mustered everyone's approval. And I want to thank everybody who was on the live yesterday dealing with that troll. I don't need your approval, but it made me feel a little more better having people be like, fuck you, dude. Or whatever y'all said. So, gracias. We don't need to crucify anybody, especially trolls. They want attention. But at some level, it made me feel not like a fraud, right? In the card artwork, we see the ritualized return of a great hero, part homage to artist Jack Burnley's original 1940 Starman superhero, part Renaissance statue. His return sparks both adulation and fear at the formidable powers and knowledge he has acquired from the distant lands conquered. The return of such a hero will also provoke resentment amongst those less worthy who have ruled in his absence. The bows he receives are not all marks of respect. Like the great hero Odysseus in Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey, this returning leader may well have much treachery to deal with at home. I'm actually reading a bunch of books over the past 2 years with my fiance since we're long distance, and we're reading Redwall right now, something I read as a kid, and this reminds me of Clooney the Scourge. He gets injured at some point, and he's like, my generals might want to take me over. It's like, et tu, Brute? Like, who's really our friend? And all approval isn't, it might be like, oh, I can't wait to take your spot, kind of like Hollywood approval. To leave one's home and venture off, and here I am in Costa Rica, no matter how noble the cause, means this aspect of life is left to the wanderings of fate. In this, the one who returns in triumph must be alert to their immediate environment. As the hero in the artwork, to display your power can act as a warning to those who would be quick to undermine you. It will not stop them, however, but allow time to access the dynamics wisely. And with Sun and Neptune conjunct in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces, Pisces has boundaries issues. It maybe is rose-tinted glasses, and it can be victimized and martyred really easily. So we got to just be aware that not everything that glitters is gold. Not all of your friends have your best interest at heart necessarily. I know that's not the highest vibe thought. You don't want to be paranoid of everybody, but be realistic. Half the people in the crowd are cheering you for the right reasons. Maybe, a third of them don't give a shit and they're just there because everyone else is. And then a third of them are like, I want your spot. Along with the possible threats, there is also space for a wondrous celebration. To venture forth and accomplish... It reminds me a little of The Hobbit, right? Where so it's like, Bilbo's birthday party. Everyone's there. Even the proud feet are like, yeah, we're here. We come to parties. And then he's got his aunt and uncle there, potentially. Maybe they didn't even show up, but they want to take his bag end, right? Along with the possible threats, there's also space for a wondrous celebration. To venture forth and accomplish something of intense difficulty must be fully acknowledged. And with Pluto in Capricorn, we've been really going in the world and changing it, metamorphosing ourselves and the world around us more than you might think. We'll look back on these past few years, definitely since 2012, but most, notably probably the past 5 years, and we'll go, holy shit, we lived through that. That happened. It is also time to move out and shine with new ideas. While you must have immense self-belief in the rightness of your offering to the world, it must be understood that success can be extremely fleeting. In order to really engineer and carry success for some time into the future, which is very much Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius, engineering into what the future Aquarius, you must enroll others, very Aquarius, teamwork, in the value of your mission, North Node and Taurus. Right? This guy wants to celebrate, he's like, hey, we're going to go right the wrongs of the land and make everybody, have a basic income or whatever, right? Basic universal income. He's trying to make the world a better place. And if you have people in your crew or, support from others, it becomes much more easier than you against the world, quote unquote. And it's never you against the world. Don't ever trip into that delusion. That's a, worst case scenario, delusions and illusions. Neptune conjunct the sun exactly right now. You're never alone. You are not alone, Michael Jackson would say. We're never alone. We always have friends, whether it's Jiminy Cricket or the birds that talk to Snow White or whatever. There's the wicked witches and the trolls and, the things that you got to be, that bump in the night that you got to be a little careful of. But ultimately, they're reflections of a shadow aspect of you in another dimension, if you want to put it that way. So we're all walking each other home victoriously like this guy. In order to really engineer and carry success for some time in the future, you must enroll others in the value of your mission. You need to elicit their value system and create a cohesive strategy that will align their needs and ambitions with your own. That is North Node and Taurus 101. It's like, what do we value? What do you value? What do I value? How does it all work together? Let's make it happen. Make it so. Acting not merely as a figurehead, but really embarking on the task of true leadership, of clearly defining a vision that is in everyone's best interest. The ultimate win-win situation that is unifying, supportive, and gratifying for all involved, right? Jupiter and Pisces. It's like, oh, we're all friends. We're all lovers without, the sexual intimacy connotations. It's like we're all in this together. Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius. The Six of Wands suggests you are being invited to step forward into a position of leadership in your work or social life. Good leadership is about moving towards a shared vision, which preferably symbolizes the most promising of human virtues. Great leaders create an exciting, energizing, and optimistic environment, coaching and affirming their teammates while being honest, accountable, compassionate, and ultimately decisive. They are not afraid to take the brunt of criticism and are able to offer encouraging feedback, fine-tuning a pathway to success. It is time to invest in your own leadership abilities, be inspired, and learn from the leaders around you, investigating ways that you can now take the lead. So this wands, this fire energy, this hearted energy, this kind of inspired energy is going to be pushing us through the journey of the Fool. That's more of the major arcana, but all the tarot cards are the journey of the soul, writ large in symbological form. Six of Wands, triumph and victory are achieved, getting desired recognition, fine-tuning your pathway to success. And given that this it's a Sahasrara Chakra day, we have to be like, how can I help the least among me, and how can I help myself, right? This is all the Om. It's like you are one at one-ment atonement with God, Source, as well as, the lepers in India, or, whatever Mother Teresa was helping, or the trolls on the internet, or the politician that you think is so skeezy. You and them are one, and we're all walking each other home. And the more you tap into that, the more victorious you'll be. But that doesn't mean there aren't haters. That doesn't mean there aren't pitfalls. That doesn't mean there aren't challenges and slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, right? This is very much, in a sense, Julius Caesar coming home from the war. If you've ever read Shakespeare's Caesar play, which I was actually Mark Antony in, Friends, Romans, Countrymen. I gave that speech in middle school. In any event, he came home and everyone's like, you're the shit. But there were guys who were like, he needs to be taken care of. He's a political threat. We thought he was going to die in the war or whatever was going on. And that's when they conscript Brutus into the plot to kill him. And then he realizes he's fucked up and all this shit. A little too late. So just because you have the adulation of others and the acceptance of others doesn't mean they're all behind you. But that doesn't mean you need to be on a, red scare paranoia, let's root out the terrorist mode. Bask in the glory of adulation and know that the job is not over is basically the message. It's like, enjoy the ride, but it ain't over, baby, till it's over. And it's never over. This is the song that never ends. Crown chakra, right? You're going to go through many cycles and many iterations. And with the moon in Cancer, we really need to be getting... it's healthy to have positive feedback. It nurtures your soul, your emotional vitality, your emotional body. What up, Suze? I'm just seeing now the comments, or whoever's on. I try not that I try not to, but I've learned as of yesterday that I can't engage the trolls, or else it'll just distract me. We've got the Three of Swords, Heartbreak Hotel, but we got a little alien, and this is even looking like a mushroom itself, which I will be eating today. Haha, I keep advertising this. Mushrooms grow plenty here. I just got like 17 grams for $60, which is like half price. And that I could have picked them, but you have to have a local kind of with you for that. And I didn't yesterday, so I just kind of bought them from a tour guide, and we shall see how they are. I gave a little to the guy who helped me find them, and not much, like a cap, like 2 caps maybe. And he's like, oh, I feel that. So I imagine I'll be feeling the mushroom today, and there's a little mushroom in this. But the Three of Swords, right? I see life as cruel and meaningless. With Neptune conjunct the Sun, and with Chiron and Aries still, Black Moon Lilith is conjunct my Sun right now at 26 degrees, Gemini. We might still feel, even though we're very victorious and very supported, we might not feel that all the time. We might be actually very aware of the fact that not everybody's supporting us, right? Like yesterday was hard on the live because I was very aware of the hater as opposed to all the support. I kind of realized the support afterwards, but I was focused on the sniper, if you want to put it that way. We are marching to victory, but that doesn't mean there's not pitfalls, right? And we might be very well aware of it. Look at his eyes, how they're bugging out. It's like he's very conscious, very aware. Swords. So this clarifier, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, right? I see life as cruel and meaningless. Freedom arrived at through despair, questioning everything, asking quality questions. Life is cruel and without meaning. So, I mean, with Neptune conjunct the sun in Pisces, we might be like, yeah, I feel I won the lottery, but my family's going to be asking me for all this money. And, taxes are going to take a certain amount. And most people who win the lottery don't, do well with their winnings or whatever. Like that kind of shadow, disillusionment, right? Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter and Mercury in Pisces, might kind of distract us from the high vibes that are. Because we're entering the new age. Mars and Venus conjunct in Aquarius is pushing on. Saturn in Aquarius is pushing on to a new design of reality. We've leveled up. We're no longer the simple, maybe we're in the underground Mario level, but we're not in the same level anymore. We're leveling up. And up is a relative term, but we're leveling through, right? But we might be very well aware of how not everything that glitters is gold. So let's get an animal oracle card. Kind of humid today. It was 31 Celsius yesterday. I guess I should expect as much from an equatorial place, but it was rather warm. And it's not a dry heat. Let's put it that way. So we've got orca, songlines, beautiful animal. This is actually a dolphin, something I learned recently. Number 30. And I was thinking You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson, but we could also be saying, Hold Me Like the River of Jordan from Free Willy. Song lines, right? And in a sense, how do we get our mind off of that which can distract us, right? The things that when we're not focused on the silver lining, when we're focused on the clouds a little, even though we think the sunset's beautiful, we're like, well, the storm's coming still. How can we really tap into the power of victory? Singing a song. Songlines. That's not specifically what this is all about, but here we go. Songlines. You are walking in the bloodlines of your ancestors, but you are an individual who makes your own destiny, right? It's a both and simultaneity. Om, crown chakra, right? You are both at the center of the wheel and every iteration of the wheel possible. So yes, you're an individual, but yes, you're part of a collective song. Seek better communication with family. Nourish yourself. Moon and Cancer. Exercise extreme self-care. That is like Cancer, Moon, all the day. Share your skills with others. Mars, Venus conjunct in Aquarius, with Saturn in Aquarius. What work do you want to do, and how can you do it with yourself and others at the heart of the cause, basically? Mythos. The Inuit mythos, in Inuit mythos, that's a tongue twister, in Inuit mythos, Sedna was a beautiful maiden who refused marriages arranged by her father, instead preferring to commune with nature. Her father had enough of this disobedience and married her off to the very next hunter who came along, a man who offered much fish to the family. That's some Pluto and Capricorn shit. It's like, you know what? It's a hard knock life. You're going to, I love you, my daughter, but actually I'm rooting for our family more, and I don't care if you love this person or not. You're going to join the marriage. Tough titties, girl. Knowing his daughter would resist, Sedna's father gave her a sleeping potion to drink, and she awoke far from her home in the company of her new husband. Neptune conjunct Sun in Pisces. She's getting drugged. The trouble was, this man was not a man at all, but a great petrel spirit bird that had disguised his true form. Illusions, delusions, Jupiter in Pisces. Sedna found herself sitting in a giant nest surrounded by thousands of screeching birds with no way home. She's a victim, right? Her borders and boundaries have been crossed. Very Mercury in Pisces. She cried out so loudly in fear and anger that her father heard her. He sailed his canoe over the vast icy sea to rescue her from the nest. Ironically, didn't you create this situation, sir? Sedna and her father were pecked by angry birds as they began to paddle away, and the spirit bird whipped up a fierce storm that threatened to capsize their small vessel. In his fear, Sedna's father pushed her overboard, hoping this would placate the bird husband and save his own life. Once again, Sun conjunct Neptune is like, you're going to go in the waters. Sedna managed to grasp the side of the canoe to stop herself from sinking, but in his panic, her father cut off her fingers and she sank to the underworld of the ocean. This is a comedy of errors and ignorance. Anyway, so she's sinking to the bottom of the ocean. There she grew a fish's tail and became the mistress of all. So she's transforming into very aquatic things. Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Her cut fingers transformed into beautiful sea mammals such as seals and whales, which are integral to the survival of all Inuits. Her guardians, the orcas, were her messengers and told of her to others. So they were kind of like, here comes Sedna, and she lost her fingers, and here's her tale. It's not maybe it's kind of a heartbreaking tale. Three of Swords is the clarifier. It's not all perfect, but there's a victory in it nonetheless. Sedna grants hunters upon the ocean a successful hunt, without which they would be in extreme hardship and die. She provides nourishment in this unforgiving environment if a hunt is successful. After all, there are no rich pastures or supermarkets to fall back on in the Arctic. Sedna is seen in her shadow aspect as vengeful, so hunters give gifts and songs to her as they set out on their boats. And Sedna's myths, good stewards of the ocean, of the ocean's finite resources, is necessary, and taboos are upheld to underline this, a lesson we could all do well to maintain. Pluto in Capricorn. It's like, yo, you cross the line, you lose your fingers, hunters. The orca is an iconic sea creature that has fired our human imagination for millennia. Written about by the ancient Greeks and Romans, the orca is part of the mythos and spirituality of a number of cultures. Siberian, Pacific Northwest, and Newfoundland indigenous peoples all depict the orca as being integral to their spiritual beliefs and art. They honor the killer whale, especially in family or clan worship. Right? Mars conjunct Venus in Aquarius. So it's like we're all going to love this animal together. And it is still part of their culture today. The animal. Orcas look very distinctive. Their black and white skin is immediately recognizable. Their 50 interlocking inward-leaning teeth are perfectly designed for both hunting and echolocation, and it's estimated that a fully grown orca will consume about 200 kilograms of food per day. They are highly effective hunters, thus the term killer whale, and they hunt in highly organized pods. Saturn and Aquarius is like, let's get this job done together as a pod. While these and mentally, like they're using their heads. While these members of the dolphin family are incredibly physical, it is what scientists are just beginning to learn about their culture that is so interesting. Orcas live in matrilineages, moon in Cancer, right? Mother rules, meaning they stay in matriarchal lines. Great-grandmothers, grandmothers, mothers, and daughters, all with their calves, travel in one very stable matriline that is usually around 5 generations deep. Rolling with the homies. A number of matrilines make up a pod that comes and goes freely. All members of the pod use the same set of sounds and songs. It is their own dialect, right? So, speaking through the waters, Mercury and Pisces. This language is an important part of the bonding of these families and in finding each other in difficult conditions. Because difficult conditions can arise. Even though you're victorious, right? 6 of Wands is the card, the clarifier, 3 of Swords. Doesn't mean it's all wavy gravy. It's all good ultimately, but, you hit your foot a few times on this trip. The final grouping is a number of pods coming together in what scientists call a clan. When clans come together loosely, it's called a community. Very Saturn and Aquarius. While clans share similar language and ancestry, communities don't share language but do share territories. So it's very much like the United Nations of orcas. For all their savage reputation, there has never been a fatal attack by an orca in the wild. In fact, the only recorded fatalities have occurred with captive orcas, and it is not known whether these deaths were accidental or deliberate attempts by the whales to cause harm. Wild orcas have actually been recorded as being very friendly and cooperative with humans in assisting them. Ironically, in a weird twist here, it's like humans are the dominant species, and we don't know if the orcas are friend or foe, but we play with them. The magic on page 123, while we're all here. Orca magic can be raised by singing your own song by the sea. With Sun conjunct Neptune today, with Jupiter and Neptune, with Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces, I should say, with Mercury in Pisces, with Neptune in Pisces, we should be getting near bodies of water if possible and doing some magic. It is a feminine magic that can be used to help heal breaches in family relationships. Moon in Cancer, it's like heal that familial line, heal your karma through nurturance and motherly love from the goddess. Orca magic is also one that asks for self-care and nourishment. Once again, Moon in Cancer. If you're feeling weak in your physical body or your mind, especially with issues of vitality or endurance, and that can be the case with the Sun and conjunct Neptune, with Jupiter in Pisces, with Mercury in Pisces, we could just feel like dissipated and stretched and dreamy and not sure of what's really going on. If you're feeling that way and you lack vitality, the power of the orca can be called upon as an ally. Symbology: woman underwater with a fish's tail, woman with a spirit bird, woman and orca, black curved dorsal fin. Their status is endangered, so let's take good care of our compatriots of the sea. All right, so the card of the day, Six of Wands. We're going to victory, but not all that glitters is gold, so just be aware. And the things that are in our way, they're more mental than anything. So it's like our enemies aren't even our enemies. We just have to strategize better to make them our friends. And the way to do that, honestly, is to sing the song of your heart and know that crown chakra, we're all in this together, walking each other home. I know that's sometimes a very abstract idea, and people are like, oh, you're such a hippie. It's like, well, it's true, though. And I'm not such a hippie, though. I've been propagating psychedelic mushrooms all morning. So let's get a hexagram. Got number 3. Is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's going to be a magical day. With Sun exactly conjunct Neptune right now, with the Moon the last degrees of Cancer, with Mercury in Pisces, we have this ability to really kind of go dig deep into the waters of our soul and then, be part of the whole. Even this looks a little like that. It's like you are an individual in a collective. You are an individual or an individual Om symbol in a collective. And it's all you in some weird way anyway, and I don't need to get all into that philosophy, but it's a happening. Difficult beginnings. How about 3, right? And it's not the end of the journey, right? 6 of Swords. Difficult beginnings. Or 6 of Wands, rather. Difficult beginnings. Not all that glitters is gold. 3 of Swords. Difficult beginnings. This sign stands for intense, chaotic, and that is very much the Pisces Sun conjunct Neptune, chaos, fullness, and the excessive struggle for complexity in vulnerable relationships. Here too lies your chance. If you remain true to your principles, you will master this difficult period and learn how to make use of it. It is crucial to work tirelessly to bring order to the confusion. Saturn in Aquarius is really wanting, and Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius is really wanting to make sense of Mercury in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces, Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces. It's like, all right, we're talking in abstract Picasso terms. How do we make this work? Try not to force things, right? Go with the flow. Moon and Cancer, Sun and Pisces. Go with the flow. Accept great change, even if it is accompanied by growing pains, right? So you're not done. The journey is continuing, 6 of Swords, and there might be growing pains, and let's just be real. There are going to be growing pains. 3 of Swords is the clarifier. Difficult beginnings, or the start of a new birthing of an aeon. So you think that's just going to be all, shits and giggles? Have faith, very Sun in Pisces, conjunct Neptune. Have faith that future order lies in the confusion of a new beginning. This does not mean waiting passively for everything to happen, which is the shadow of Pisces, the shadow of Cancer Moon, Pisces Sun, where it's just like, oh, I'll let it come to me. It's like you actually have to go out there and make it happen. Pluto and Capricorn. Have faith that future order lies in the confusion of a new beginning. This does not mean waiting passively for everything to happen. Rather, that you should actively deal with it using motivation and measured force. You will then achieve a satisfactory result. Yes, I had to walk multiple miles to get mushrooms yesterday, but I got the mushrooms, right? It's like that. And with the song lines, know that you're actually an incarnation of the dream of your forefathers and foremothers, right? So you're trucking through life on the victory path. Not all that glitters is gold. It might hurt. You might stub your toe. You might have haters, right? The beginning of the journey can be difficult, right? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step kind of thing. But you are supported through your blood, through your soul, through your interconnection with all things. Sahasrara chakra, crown chakra. And know that at one mint, tap into that, and you will have a power that can't be taken away from you. So let's get one more crystal, or one more card, the crystal card. Oh gosh, I put it in backwards, so it's going to be, there we go. Harder to get out, but I got it. Let's see what wants to pop. Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful Sunday. Holler where you're tuning in from. I'm always fascinated. We've got Amazonite. Very Neptunian looking. So, Amazonite. And you can quantumly entangle with this, right? You don't have to own it. What it is, Amazonite is a brilliant blue-green mineral named after South America's famed river. The best Amazonite comes from Colorado, where I was hailing from until recently. And I might return to, but who knows. Who needs it? Teeth grinders, anyone struggling with Mercury retrogrades, right? Anybody trying to live their best life but are having difficult beginnings. I Ching. right? Anyone trying to victory march it, but they know that there's something that's going to trip them up at some point, grinding your teeth in stress about that. Where to put it, place Amazonite below the throat, relax your jaw, and ask for the courage to speak your truth. When to use it, when your inner child wants a real talk with you. Ask yourself what little you really wants from life. Does it sound like what current you would want if you could just let yourself want it? This is some Pisces, Sun, conjunct Neptune stuff. It's like, what's your dream, little one? How can I wish it? How can I grant your wish? Perfect. Now say it out loud for the whole universe to hear and make it go happen. Speak from your heart is the advice we're getting from Amazonite. So I think the bottom line, though, how do we speak? How do we sing our songline, Orca from our heart, with Amazonite, refining this and making it so? We just know that we're, it's like I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar was actually a song that became popular with the woman who was in Pete's Dragon. I don't remember her name, but this Canadian singer is really good. She made this I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. Were women equal righted exactly? Sexual harassment, Playboy magazine, all this kind of stuff still existed, right? Three of Swords, it wasn't exactly equal, but she had to tap into a song, literally, to empower herself through the journey of being a woman. It's a difficult beginning to find equality, but you tap into your heart and speak from your heart, right? You roar from your heart and find your place in the song of creation, and you will be honoring yourself and others in the completeness of the journey. I know that sounds like a whole bunch of new age jargon, but you need to be the most you can be. Be yourself. We all need each other to be our super selves, right? We're all heroes in our own stories, right? And then we're all cheering or jeering others in their stories. And if we come from our heart and speak from our heart, and we're singing the song that is in our blood that we've been born into at some level, even though there's trials and tribulations, difficult beginnings, Three of Swords is the clarifier, right? Even though not everything that glitters is gold, and maybe sometimes you miss a word or sing out of key, it's like, I get by with a little help from my friends. If I sing out of key, will you still love me? It's like, actually, yes, there is no out of key. Sahasrara Chakra. You're one with everything, and you just have to do your little part and be you to the fullest. And that's really all that's being asked of us. And with the Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces, with Jupiter in Pisces, with Mercury in Pisces, be willing, and a moon in Cancer, the last moments of Cancer, let's tap into our deepest wishes and then get our thinking caps on, Saturn in Aquarius, Mars conjunct Venus in Aquarius, and make it happen in the dream. Don't just keep it up in your head or keep it in your heart. Come up with the secret code, abracadabra, okay, and then go abracadabra, and then say it, and then your reality will change. North Node in Taurus. We're here for the refinement from going from shit to shinola. We're going from shit to gold. That's the alchemical thing. Wow, the sun, I knew it was blinding me, but man, I'm very well illumined here. So, that might help me see a little. No, it doesn't. There we go. All right, so holler for readings if you want. Hopefully this made sense. Tag people if you like it. Share it. Whatever's clever. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We're booked out through April now. We're starting to get that back in order. My travels sometimes kind of confuse things, time zones, and do I have Wi-Fi kind of stuffs. Readings are great, 5 stars only, so you'll get quality for value. North Node in Taurus, where my North Node and Midheaven are being triggered this year. So, and my Venus. So I will help you beautify and understand your journey in a nurturing way, not a dogmatic way. I even always say at the beginning of my astrology lessons or whatever, readings, it's like, you could believe this or not. Like, I'm not dogmatic about it. Cards for an hour, $33. $88 for 3 hours of astrology, $111 for both. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Leave a tip if you feel so inclined. And I will catch y'all mañana. Have a beautiful Sunday and take it easy. Bye.